Hey guys, it's Roxanne from RoxanneLynch.com. Do I have your permission? Do I have your permission to be a little bit raw tonight? Okay. I'm going to talk about some things I probably have never talked about on Facebook before. As a professional network marketer, we're always questioning ourselves. Where do you draw the line? Where do you draw the line between professionalism and what's going on in your own house and home, what's going on within your heart and your family? So last one, my video's late. I've been walking around the house wondering if I should share some of these things that are going on. Because it kind of sparked me. There was a couple girls that had dropped comments on my videos asking me if I had won the lottery because Bob and I have decided to go tiny home living on wheels. Okay, so let's start with Dad first. Okay, so the thing is that some of you guys know, I do show pictures of me and Dad headed to the hospital. I show, me and Dad, on the road, and I say, hey Dad, look my way or toward my voice and smile. He can't see the camera. He knows I'm taking a photo because he knows, this is what I do on Facebook. But he can't see. Okay, he can see like I can. When I cover this eye up and I'm looking at you, I can see that my light is there, but I can't see my hand moving. I can't see. I'm blind in this eye. So, but my dad is same thing, 99.9% blind 8 weeks after he retired from work. And it's heartbreaking because I'm looking at my dad in all of his golden years of all of his hopes and dreams that he wanted to do, he can't do. There's no hunting with the grandkids. There's no berry picking. There's no putting a worm on a fishing hook. He can't mow his lawn. He can't grow his tomatoes. He can't fertilize the cucumbers with his little feather in his greenhouse. And he can't read anymore. And we got him the biggest, best TV when his eyesight first started to go, so he could try to watch the Vancouver Canucks still play. He loves basketball and he loves hockey. So there was some lessons that, because I've had all kinds of people say, Roxanne, that's not fair, that's so tragic, that is horrible, what are you guys gonna do? Is your mom going to be able to take care of him? Can he get to the bathroom on time? Can he find his way around the house, right? All these questions happen. And I think in all those questions of what are you guys going to do? And my dad has always been very spontaneous. And it's really kind of crazy when I was a little girl, I would sometimes come off the school bus and the big mustard yellow GMC crew cab would be at the end of the bus stop. So I actually didn't have to walk the 3 miles home with my little brother because Dad was there. And it was crazy, but Dad was there, and Dad, it only happened a few times, but it happened enough that it was profound in my memory that my dad, and I said, what are we doing? He goes, we're going on a road trip. And off we would go. Mom would pack sandwiches in the cooler and whatever food they had that they could grab on the road and go, because what I say, put it in the coolers, because we didn't have a fridge. We lived in a 20 by 22 cabin 3 miles from the bus stop, no power, no electricity, no running water. Everything was pretty much canned goods. You cook it on the stove, you eat it that day, because there was no saving anything for leftovers because we didn't have a fridge. So we were very spontaneous, and Dad would always say that we would always go. He says, because if you don't do things now, something's going to happen and you won't be able to do it. And it totally happens, right? You guys make plans and then something would happen. The fridge will die. Oh, you planned on going on a trip, or you planned on doing this. Mom and Dad planned on taking Chad and I to Disneyland, but then we had my little sister instead. And now we're blessed with I have more nieces and and I'm excited about that. But things happen, right? Life happens. So we would be very spontaneous. And so Dad would say, whatever's happening in your life, you need to figure out what the lesson is. So, long story short, when people say, it's really tragic what's going on with your dad, the biggest lesson that dad has given me and my brother and my little sister and his grandchildren is you need to respond. You need to stop and pause and say, what's going on, what's working, what's not working, and what are the lessons that I can learn. So dad's loss of vision, so suddenly after weeks of his retirement, has taught our whole family to be a hell of a lot more proactive in our choices, right? We need to be more proactive. Do not wait. I think that is like, do it now. So, and that was part of the thing when my husband, Bob, and I, we've been talking about moving to British Columbia for over 10 years now, okay? Talking for 10 years, seriously looking to the point of having 3 different realtors in 3 different areas covering 8 different towns looking for the right property. Okay, jumping in the Jeep when you get the email and like driving there all night just to find out it had an accepted offer on it. Or you're traveling all that way. And we was like, obviously we've made multiple trips, multiple trips, spending thousands of dollars in fuel and hotels and meals just to find out that now there's a bidding war. Or, I would call my friends that live in Kelowna or Salmon Arm or Oliver saying like, hey, this place is for sale. Can you do a walkthrough for me this morning? Send me a video and so I can have a look at it. It was heartbreaking and it was frustrating and it was extremely stressful. Like living on pins and needles, asking each other every morning, do you have an email? Did you get an email today? Did you get an email from Sonia? Did you get an email from Joy? Did you get an email from Larry's? Like, nope, no emails. So the do it now really come into play of thinking about what is going to happen for the next stages of our lives. Knowing that I quit. I worked for 13 years shift work in a heavy industrial environment. So I was working shift work, 4 days on, 4 days off, 12-hour shifts, days and nights. I lived parts of my life where I didn't know how I was going to feed the kids. I lived parts of my life where I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. Everyone got a little bit. The dentist got $25. The feed store got $25. The mechanic got $25. The tire shop got $25. No one got paid off in full. Like I never had the money to do that. But I also remember my dad saying, Roxanne, I want you to start a mutual fund. I was in my early 20s and that's when could barely put 2 nickels together. And there was always way more month than there was money. But my dad said, Roxanne, he says, I need you to put away $25 into a mutual fund, like an RSP, like it wasn't an RSP, but just mutual, just for savings. He says, in case something happens and you need to do something, you need to save. I said, Dad, I can't afford it. I can't afford $25. He goes, do it. You will live without $25 every paycheck. You'll figure it out. And at that time you get paid like twice a month, the 15th and the 30th, give or take. And I did that. And it was kind of crazy. But then when I got the industrial job and, they were taking more off in taxes than I used to make in 2 weeks at my previous job. I remember grocery shopping and crying in the apple aisle because I could buy the red, delicious, ripple bottom red apples. I didn't have to buy the bag of apples that was 99 cents and on sale. I was just glorious. But I sacrificed a lot. I sacrificed years of my children. I sent them off to babysitters and I didn't get to put them to bed at night. I didn't get to spend a lot of Christmases or Thanksgivings or Easters or summer vacations or July long weekends because I was working night shifts. So I had to sleep during the daytime and work all night. So there was a lot of sacrifices. I had money, but now I was missing out with my family. So I fast forward to now and I'm thinking about this and I'm looking at Dad's lessons and, we have more questions to ask. On Thursday, we go for one of his final consults and he gets to decide of how he wants to battle this cancer. And he says, you just need to do it now. So when Bob and I were talking, over the last month, and we were thinking, well, maybe we should just go into like a 55 plus living place. Then maybe we can find something, because we want to move debt free, right? We all want to be debt free, and Bob and I, except for the mortgage and only a little bit left owing on our place, are completely debt free, and we don't want to bring on more debt at our age. So we don't want to touch our RSPs, we don't want to touch our savings, because we have worked really hard to put it in there. So I'm thinking about this. It's like, well, maybe we can go into the 55 plus living, and they're a little bit less pricey, and there's some beautiful modular homes out there. But you know what? Most of them are 55 for both of you, and Bob is 55 next year. The thing is, I'm not 55 for another 3 years. Yeah, 4 years. So it's like, that means 4 more winters in Edson, like 4 more years. And how far do we want to push off our health, knowing that my grandfather died at 54 from a massive heart attack. My other uncle on my mom's side died from galloping cancer, and he wasn't 55. We've got heart disease and cancers and diabetes on both sides of our family. And Dad's lesson that he has taught us is to be proactive, respond in a smart way, and do it now. Get stubborn about your goal, get flexible about your plan. So when Bob and I were talking about this crazy tiny home living, now that 55 plus places are out of the loop, because I'm not 55, we're nowhere close to that. He's like, well, maybe we can find like a tiny home, or maybe we'll get a motorhome. And I said, yeah, like, why not get a motorhome? Because the thing with my business within social retail is that I can do it anywhere. Social retail isn't a company that I need to carry stock. I don't need to do parties. I don't need to, obviously find babysitters and have someone watch the kids while I go off in an evening or a weekend vendor market. Social retail isn't your mom and pop MLM. And Bob can do anything. Like, he is so handy. Like, he's got multiple different trade tickets. He can, like, his dream job actually now is to go mow lawns. He wants to go mow lawns at golf courses in the morning, because he and I are both early birds. So why not get up early? Why not, go have some fun, mow some lawns at the golf course, come home, have a nap, then go do some golf or go for a walk. And that motorhome, this tiny home on wheels, will give us that ability that he can work seasonal work wherever he wants. And we've got one of those little beep boop little dishes on top for satellite Wi-Fi for me. I mean, there was a lot of great places in BC that were in our price range that had everything we wanted on it, but it didn't have Wi-Fi. She said, yeah, if you walk down to that telephone pole, like a quarter mile down the road, and like stand next to that telephone pole, you got cell service. I was like, well, that ain't gonna cut it, lady. Like, I need Wi-Fi to have an income. I don't want to go back to a job. I love what I do within social retail. I love being able to help and empower women. I love bringing women to the sunny side. I am rooting for the underdog all the time. And this gives me that flexibility. So Dad's lesson helped Bob and I make this shift, make this shift very, very easy to do. We walk around the house gloriously excited about, okay, the kids are going to get that, and that's going to go to the take it, leave it, and this is going to go to the garage sale. And and Mom and Dad plan on moving closer to their youngest grandchildren next spring, one way or the other. So, when people say, well, this is really sad about your dad, and I'm going, Dad has taught us so much. And I can never be appreciative enough of my childhood and the adventures that I had because of that, of always looking, because when we're not choosing to make a decision, we're procrastinating, and we're still making a choice by not making a choice, if that makes any sense. So my last words of wisdom come from Dad, which is live wider long, and live wider now, because you don't know how long you're going to live long. So don't wait. If there's been something in your heart, find a way, do it now. If you're looking for, different ideas about how to do that, to add some more spontaneity within your world, to, maybe have some of those freedoms. If you don't know what social retail is and you're looking for if you're open and looking for a new opportunity, if you've been waiting and kind of looking at a couple different things and you're not really sure, just reach out and have a conversation. I mean, I had prayed for a job that would give me joy again after I left the corporate world, when I was battling depression, when I was banging my head on the keyboard, when I had like 30 pounds of weight gain and my hair was falling out in handfuls, and I was in this deep, deep depression, and there was so many boxes of tissues going through the house, and it was just a really, really bad, ugly time in my life. And I quit that job to save myself. And then I had a lot of prayer and a lot of hope and a lot of wondering what I was going to do next. And I never thought that it was going to be a network marketing company. I never thought that was his solution to what I was looking for. But I opened my eyes and I had a look. I had a peekaboo. I asked some questions. And I've had those answers. I now have the freedom and the flexibility that I can be there for my dad anytime he wants. Anytime they need me, they call. And I just show up. Day, night, and the doctor's appointments. I love being there for him because, I mean, it's my turn, right? And if I had a real job, if I was working a 9 to 5 or in my old corporate job, I mean, I've spent more days on the road with my dad than I would have ever had in holidays. So, I mean, in 2017, it was more than 40 days. I stopped counting after 40 that I was on the road for the pre-ops and the after-ops and the ops and the overnight stays in the city. And it was just crazy. When we thought this was just a small pocket of time, like we all thought that, dad was going to recover and his vision was going to come back. And we thought, he's going to get better. Life is going to go back to normal. But the thing is, with life, in any of our situations, whatever's going on within our crazy worlds, it is never going to be the old normal, ever. Sorry to break it to you if you haven't discovered that already, but it will never, ever, ever be the same as it was. So you have to embrace the new normal, and you have to get used to it, and you need to decide to live wider now, because you don't know how long. You just don't know. So anyway, thanks. Thanks, Dad. Thanks, Dad, for the inspiration, and thank you for listening to some heart. So I appreciate your comments and your love. And if you are looking for something, if you've been praying, if you've been looking, if you've been hoping, and I can be that door for you, I can be that window for you within asking more questions about social retail, just send me a message, okay? I promise I won't hound you, I won't chase you, but I'm going to give you the same video that had me jumping up and down with joy. It's only 30 minutes long, and you deserve to be in the know. You deserve to know that there's other things out there that can re-inspire, re-empower, add sunshine, add goodness to your life, because God knows we all need a little bit more sunshine in our lives. Okay? Good night, guys.